Hello everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Dr. Carmen Bryant. This is Redefining Yourself. This is my YouTube channel, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Thank you guys so much for joining me. All the new subscribers that have joined me and subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for finding something valuable in what I have to say. And thank you guys so much for joining me on Sunday. Please, if you have not already subscribed to my channel, it is Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Hit the bell so you know whenever I upload new videos, Tuesday through Friday, and I come on live on Sundays between 8 and 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which is West Coast time. And so today I wanted to address, because of course I am busy, but I wanted to make sure I get some quality information out there to you guys, and I wanted to make sure I could get it in early enough so you'll have it for the day. Before I start, I do want to address one of the new subscribers, Miss Shay Hartman. Thank you so much for joining me. One of her comments, I'm not going to read the whole thing, it's on YouTube, but she did she said, have I made myself look crazy? And then of course you had some other stuff to say. Michelle, I think that is the question that almost everyone on the YouTube channel has asked himself. I feel crazy, I feel stupid, how could this have happened to me? But remember, that the narcissist, he or she did not present themselves in an honest way. Had they presented information to you, just like when you go and buy a car or a house, well, not in the lemon lot, but if you go and buy a car or a house, you're going to ask questions. And because of the fact that they purposely practice to deceive, and they practice to lie because there's something that you have that they wanted, we do not make educated decisions because we do not have the information that we need to make that to make that decision. And so a lot of us have went into these relationships bamboozled or tricked. You were manipulated into the relationship only later on to come out, and now you're being presented with information about the relationship that you were in, and now you reflect back and look at, and say, well, I feel stupid, I feel dumb, I'm an educated man or woman, I'm a business person, but when the person is tricking you, now you see me, now you don't, but when a person is tricking you and using this great illusion and presenting themselves in a way, you are attracted by what they present, how they market themselves, and that's how we usually purchase stuff, purchase cars, purchase houses, purchase computer equipment, by the way that it is marketed. Even a house, think about it, when you buy a house is staged. So they purchase furniture that doesn't belong in the house, and they stage the furniture to give it an illusion of what the house could look like when you put your own furniture in there. And then guess what they do? They take the furniture back out. They probably even take the appliances back out, and then it's up to you to fill the house. Well, a narcissist does that. They take anything that you say and do, and they create an illusion to market themselves to you. And so you attach to that individual based on a lie. Only that as the mask starts falling off, you begin to realize something is really wrong. So Shay, I just want to say, be encouraged. You are not the only one that felt that way or feels that way. And coming out, you are getting information. Now you go back into a relationship where it's very obvious and you see the red flags, then you contact me and then we need to have a talk. But other than that, if if you don't know, you can't blame yourself for information you don't have. You hold yourself accountable for the information you do have. And so today I do wanted to come and I wanted to talk. As you know, a narcissist has a arsenal of weaponry that they use against people, to get people, and even in the relationship with a person. That's why they can't have any sustainable or quality relationships because of the fact of how they are, not how you are, how they are. And some of the arsenal, one of the many weapons that is used is deflection. Along with deflection, they use projection and word salad. So I wanted to use all three of those together. So looking up the term deflection in the Merriam-Webster, deflection, the act of changing or causing something to change direction. Another definition is, in the medical definition of deflection, is a turning aside or deviation from a straight line. You're going in one direction, and as you're going one direction to get to a goal or meet a goal they totally turn you into another direction, and sometimes 180 degrees in the opposite direction of where you were going. And then, just like many of us, wake up and realize we're headed in the wrong direction. You're not going to get to this point going this point. And deflection, I can also give you an example in the military, and this is on the enlisted side of the house for leadership training. We learned land navigation. Land navigation is to be able to take a map and move from one point to another by drawing grid lines and then calculating those lines into walking. And I don't want to use military terminology. You know, those that are military would know what I'm talking about. But you take the point of direction that you're going, and you have to calculate it into walking steps. But you use a azimuth, which is a compass, to point in the direction that you want to go, 180 degrees or 90 degrees or 45 degrees south, north, west, whatever direction you go. The problem is that you can't just shoot the azimuth and just start walking blindly without checking it from time to time to make sure that you're still on course, because a small deviation just like this right here is a great deviation when you're dealing with the earth and the grid coordinates or the grid points on the ground. And so if you don't check your azimuth or your compass often as you're walking, you could end up hundreds or a few miles away from the targeted point. Well, that's what a narcissist does. They make sure that they don't allow you to look at the compass, and they purposely deflect and get you off point, off your grid coordinate, off your walking path, to get you in a totally different direction. And why are they deflecting? Because 9 times out of 10, they're deflecting from themselves, so that you don't see what they're really like, their lies, what they're doing, or accountability. It is a tool, a weapon used, a psychological weapon used. Really, it is to psychologically abuse you, but it is a weapon that is used. I went to a site here. It says this is move through to thriving, and this is from L.A. Gilliam. Let's look. Yeah, L.A. Gilliam. But here there was a statement made. I'm going to read a few things off of here. L.A. Gilliam, let's look. Here's a statement. Personality disorders are not mood disorder. Absolutely correct. Personality disorders are the core of who a person is, and are born from early childhood neglect and abuse, congenital and developmental brain function, structure, and communication abnormalities, genetics, faulty early childhood attachment styles, to name just a few factors. Mood disorders are largely accepted as being treatable, whereas it is the opposite for personality disorder. You cannot treat personality disorders, especially narcissistic personality disorder. You can't treat it. It doesn't change. It's very consistent and it's very strong, and it grows stronger with time. When we're talking about deflection, here he talks about, I think it's a he, the series, The Tool of a Narcissist, which is projection, deflection, and word salad. So let's look at deflection first. Deflection, when something needs to be discussed, the narc is very likely to bring up everything else under the sun as an avoidance technique. So they will avoid any accountability. Anything that you bring up to them, you were cheating, here go the facts, this is irresponsible, why did you spend this much money, why did you make this large purchase, we don't have the money to pay for this. Anything that is a logical and adult conversation with a narcissist, and we're just talking about the adult narcissist, they will avoid accountability or the feeling of inadequacy. So if you catch them in a lie and bring it up, you will likely be bombarded with every little thing you've ever done and said that has nothing to do with anything. So you may say things like, why would you make such a large purchase, and purchase this yacht, and, we're living from paycheck to paycheck. Why would you do that? And the narcissist, he or she, may say, but I didn't say anything when you purchased that makeup, and you're thinking the makeup was like $25. But I don't say anything when you go and you purchase books. The books are like $12.99. What does that have to do with the yacht? But do you see, and it's that gaslighting they throw in there, and it's that crazy making that they throw in there. But a lot of the deflection, they deflect and focus everything on you. I didn't say anything when you went and bought this new car. I didn't have a car at the time, and my paycheck covers the car note, and we needed an automobile. But what are we going to do with a yacht when we're living from paycheck to paycheck? I need a car to make it back and forth to work. See how logical that sounds to the average person? Well, it doesn't sound logical. Then when you're with a narcissist long enough, They'll throw all this in to make you feel crazy. Let's see what else. The narc is deflecting the focus from their bad behavior. So they deflect off of their behavior, and attempt to create confusion and manipulate the situation. The whole goal is to take over the conversation. The whole goal is to, remember, deflect, take you off course in the direction that you're going, something logical, and turn it all the way around 180 degrees to get you off focus and off their trail, so they don't have to take accountability or responsibility. That's why it's almost like pointless. For many of you, it felt pointless having an argument or a conversation with a narcissist. Let's see. So here it suggests keep your footing, keep your power and your balance, because they try to throw you off balance with deflection. You'll be lied to, and the conversation will make you feel even worse afterward. Narcs work hard in keeping their victims unbalanced. Not discussing the topic at hand is the way to do just that. They do it all the time over simple stuff. A narc wants to keep you unsure, unsettled, and this communication deficit achieves that goal. It is not normal for someone to not be able to discuss a topic that is brought up. A narc will work hard at deflecting what is that you want to discuss. This is, again, to keep you off balance in hopes that you will drop the initial topic for discussion altogether. That's the whole goal. Do not drop the topic. Simply restate your first question or statement and ignore everything else thrown your way. Really, you need to get out the relationship. That's what you need to do. But you stay focused. Don't let them deflect. You're talking about apples and they want to talk about oranges. You know, you're talking about the weather. They want to talk about football. You stay focused on the topic at hand. For those of you that are still in the relationship, even those of you that are having a co-counterparent, you know, you stay focused on the situation. You know, why is my child dirty? You know, well, I know you didn't bring that up when, you know, your child, our child is failing in school, or our child is, you know, has long eyelashes, and just sometimes is ridiculous stuff that they say, really ridiculous things that they say. They get you so off balance. And what ends up happening is that you constantly are trying to defend yourself. So whatever they're saying, you totally leave the topic at hand to focus on protecting your own self, and to argue back, and to explain yourself, and to show them that they're wrong. And you know, you let them accuse you of whatever you want to. Stay focused on the topic. Another thing is projection. This is also part of the toolbox that they use along with deflection. Projection, it is common for a narcissist to accuse you of what they themselves are doing. Your outrage at the accusations are turned against you. Focus placed on your rightful anger at having been accused. The narc does take this to take attention away from what they are doing behind your back. I told you guys, a lot of times if you're quiet, they'll tell you exactly what they're doing. They'll make little comments like, I hate texting. And you're thinking like, you text all the time. I wonder why you're saying that you hate texting. Probably because they're texting someone behind your back, or they don't want you to think that they're texting. Yet, you know, but do you see how childish, not just childish, but just almost how ignorant some of the things that they say. And then you argue. And then when you step back and look at the whole conversation, your whole mind is trying to gather. Your brain, the way that your brain functions, your brain always tries to make sense of information given to it. That's why a lot of you guys are reflecting, you guys are ruminating. A lot of you guys are going back over these conversations and scenarios and situations within that relationship, because your brain is trying to make sense of what has happened. Your brain is trying to regulate. The brain wants answers, so it tries to regulate, and it tries to, what the computers try to do, it tries to defrag and then refile the information. It's got to put it somewhere. It needs to be somewhere. And a narcissist works very hard to make sure they scatter information, that you'll always stay confused. The narc is largely incapable of rational conversations regarding their bad behavior. Projection is very common. It needs to be recognized for what it is. When you are unjustly accused of cheating, lying, or other bad behavior, you can nearly be assured that the narc is doing just what they're accusing you of. So whatever you're being accused of, and you know for a fact that is not what you're doing, why argue with it? They're telling you what they're doing. So it should be able to better prepare you, especially those of you that are going through court situations, you know, and you're being, you know, divorced, parenting, child support. A lot of times they are, you know, they're accusing you of certain things in court, but that right there is telling you what they're doing. They're telling you what they're doing, not what you're doing, what they're doing. And so really you have to have a good lawyer, a good support team to show you how to win without fighting back, because they want you to fight back in court so that you'll look just as irrational as they do. Actually, you'll make yourself look worse because you are on fire to prove that you are not this monster that they're drawing you out. Male and females both alike. Let's see. It pays to remember that the motivation behind this behavior, the narcissist will never want to admit or take responsibility for their own bad behavior. And overcompensation for this behavior is common. In its way, projection onto you, the victim, is the way the narc moves the focus away from their bad behavior. They're deflecting the attention away from themselves onto you, causing a reaction from you. Reaction, not a response. That's why you don't speak so quick. Think before you speak so that you respond and not react. Because your first inclination, especially being in a relationship with a narcissist, is to react because you're so frustrated at being abused, tormented, accused, projected on. A narc caught in a lie or caught cheating will project anything and everything under the sun onto you to move the focus away from their behavior, to deflect the attention away. Their goal is to place the focus on you, often with fantastical stories that are not true. You might liken this to a child caught with their hand in the cookie jar when they turn to mom and dad saying, "But Sally just painted the walls with markers." Word salad. Sally most likely didn't paint the walls with markers, but the child wants to focus off their hand in the cookie jar and will make something up to move the focus to another person's. Narcissists do that. And let's go to the next one, which is word salad. So this is a type of nonsensical conversation style of a narc. In short, word salad is mishmash of blathering statements, questions, sentences that have nothing to do with anything you're trying to discuss. You bring up or ask a question about a specific or something specific, say plans for later in the day, yet the narc starts talking or starts answering and discussing something that happened last week. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? So let's see, you may need to discuss something very specific related to an event or situation, yet when broached, the narc starts talking about a totally unrelated topic. This is also known as circular conversation. That's why having a conversation or even a disagreement with a narcissist is almost ridiculous. The things that they say, you're looking at them like, I cannot believe that you are a grown woman or man and this is how you talk. You make no sense. And when you tell them you make no sense, they'll turn around like you don't make any sense. Because last week, when you said this and when you said that, you don't even recall the conversation. You can't remember that conversation. And remember back in 2002, you know, this is what you said to my mom and this is what you said to, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. Why I'm asking you what time are we going to meet so that we can meet up with so-and-so and so. You know, and you have to think this is how unstable these narcissists are. To even something as simple, because they got caught off guard, it makes it seem like they don't have it together. It really shows their weaknesses. You'd be surprised at how weak a narcissist really is and how much power you project in your mind onto them, when really that's all your power that you're projecting onto them. Let's see. So this keeps the victim off balance and work harder and harder to get straight answers. It becomes frustrating to keep trying to get answers from a narcissist to a point where you just give up the whole conversation. And that's the whole goal for the narcissist. You have to look and see, what do you think the goal is in this conversation? Because they're trying to throw you off for a reason. While the victim is feeling more and more imbalanced, it is likely the narc is gaining power, feeling superior for making the victim work just that hard to have a normal conversation. You cannot have a normal conversation with a narcissist. It's almost impossible. Again, even though the narc is not fully aware of their own part in this twisted dynamic, the result is the same. Word salad. It is common for the narc to talk about things that are not remotely related to the topic at hand, similar to deflection discussed above, leaving the victim feeling like, what in the world just happened here? If the narcissist is in your life, I would hasten to bet you have heard plenty of word salad. So, hopefully this has helped you. So now you know that you are not crazy. This is the game that they play. Deflection, projection, and word salad. You know, it's a part of getting the attention off of them and getting the attention back on you. Because remember, they're perfect, you're not. And so instead of you pointing out their imperfections, they'll deflect and project their imperfections on you to show you just how jacked up you are, because they will never take the accountability that they could be possibly this horrible, this messed up, you know. And so now you guys understand that you're not as crazy as you thought you were. You're not. They're projecting this onto you, and you're leaving out of these relationships really questioning yourself, constantly questioning yourself, constantly trying to prove yourself. And then even with the conversation, you get into these arguments with the narcissist, and it's like futile. It's something as simple as, when are you going to come pick up the kids? And it ends up with, you know, and this is why, you know, I can't trust you because back in 1833, you know, the mule got loose and ran through the yard. And you're like, what in the world are you talking about? What time? What time? What time? What time? And you have to stay focused. For those of you that are still in the relationship, stay focused on the topic. Those of you that have come out, no contact. For those of you that are having a co and counter parent, you know, stay focused on the topic. What time? What time? What time? I don't care what they talk about. That is not your lot. That is not your conversation. I could care less. I don't care about what you think I did. But some of you guys are so hurt about being accused of things that you know you haven't done, that you spend a lot of time trying to prove yourself. You don't have to prove yourself. What time? What time? What time? They could talk for 30 minutes. What time? What time? And then on top of that, you guys don't allow them to take control of your time. Don't allow them to hijack your conversation and talk to you for 30, 40 minutes about nothing. You can interrupt them. I hear what you're saying, but my question still is what time? What time? What time? Stay focused on the conversation. You don't have, you know, you guys have to practice this. Practice makes perfect. Well, almost perfect. But, you know, remember, no one is perfect. So I think that was a bad statement, but no one is perfect. But remember, you practice until you perfect it, until you perfect that skill. And it's going to take time, and it's going to take patience, it's going to take practice. And some of you will get frustrated, and you will have to look back at the game. It's just like a football team or a basketball team. They have to go back and reflect to see where they made the mistakes at. And then especially if you have no choice but to maintain some type of contact with them because of your kids. Other than that, there should be no reason why you guys are even connected anymore. No contact. Leave them alone. Stop concerning yourself about their new supply and trying to warn the new supply. Had someone tried to warn you, they would have been your worst enemy. And of course, the narcissist would have made sure they would have said anything to deflect their bad behavior and to project their bad behavior on the person that is accusing them and coming to bring you information. So if you wouldn't have accepted information from anyone, what makes you think that the new supply would accept information from you? Just like you had to find out by yourself, allow them to find out by themselves. Leave them alone. They've gotten another play toy. Leave them alone, and you focus on your healing. So hopefully this has helped you guys today to give you an understanding of what deflection, projection, and word salad is altogether. These arsenal of weapons that they use against unknowing victims and survivors. And so hopefully this has helped you today. Let me know what you think. Give me some more ideas of what you'd like me to talk about. I still have some more ideas and some more suggestions that people have sent me, and I will be making more videos. Stay tuned. Thank you so much. If you have not already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Hit the bell so that you are alerted whenever I upload new videos. And I do come on live on Sundays between 8 and 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which is the West Coast time. You can also join me on my Facebook, which they're not allowing me to change the name on. I'll work on it some more, see what I can do. But it's Psychological Health Consultants and Services. And on the top page, you'll see Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Thank you guys so much. Like the page. I record and then I post on both. Sometimes I may not be able to go live on Facebook, but I will be live on YouTube. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me and finding something valuable in what I have to say. And you guys have a wonderful day. And as my friend always says, go and be great.